The time is now 21 minutes past 7. A school in Batley in Yorkshire is doing Les Miserables tonight. So what? Schools are always putting on musicals. Well, maybe, but not like this one. It was the favourite musical of the local MP Joe Cox, who was murdered last summer. And this is no ordinary piece of youth theatre. The director, production team and musicians are all from West End shows. Sir Cameron Mackintosh, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber have offered their support, and collections were taken at shows on Broadway to help make this Les Mis as spectacular as possible. Our entertainment correspondent Colin Patterson was at one of their final rehearsals.
The West End has come to West Yorkshire, all to honour the late MP Joe Cox.
Let's do exactly the same again, please, Steve.
The director Nick Evans, who's worked on the likes of Billy Elliot and Mary Poppins, came up with the idea of putting on a West End quality Les Miserables, using children from Joe Cox's constituency.
I wanted to show the people of Batley and Spen and the wider communities around there that people right across the UK, and in particular the West End community, cared about what happened. We wanted to say to people who'd been in that town, who'd been in that community on that day, that they weren't alone, that actually there was a future. And I'm putting together an arts project that in the summer after Joe died will offer hopefully a sort of a pathway forward and showcase the talent, the extraordinary pool of talent that exists in West Yorkshire, and say this is the future, this is the story, and we won't let what happened on that day be the entire narrative.
For this week, an Oxfam warehouse in Batley has been transformed into the Joe Cox Theatre, with West End production teams and Les Mis musicians donating their time. Producer Donna Mundy helped make it happen.
It looks expensive.
It is expensive, but an awful lot of what we've been given has been donated. So there are many, many companies that have lent us equipment and goods for free. Cameron Mackintosh, for example, has lent us set, costumes and props, which would have cost a fortune otherwise.
Let's go, 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 go. Come on.
17-year-old Ella Schofield is playing Cosette.
Well, we're backstage, so we kind of where all the costumes are and stuff, and it's very nice to look at. The costumes are really sick, so...
These are impressive costumes.
Yeah, impressive is a bit of an understatement, I'd say, because they're all West End costumes. So the most exciting thing about them, despite how gorgeous they are, is if you look in the labels that there are, you can see which actors have worn them. So like someone's wearing like Ramin Karimlu's waistcoat, and he's like famous for all sorts of things. Like he played Phantom in the 25th anniversary of Phantom of the Opera. Like it's so surreal.
And the reason for the production is in memory of Joe Cox. How much did you know about her?
Well, I live in Batley, and she was obviously the MP for Batley, so I knew of her work, and I think I followed her on Twitter, and yeah, I was aware of what she was doing, but it was only when she was gone that I think everyone truly appreciated how much she cared about all the people in Batley and Spen and how incredible a person she actually was.
He took my childhood in its grave.
Tracy Braben used to be in Coronation Street. She's now the MP in this, Joe Cox's old seat, and has been lending her support.
There's a great deal of sadness around the project. It's a very moving show as well, and I can't imagine there's going to be a dry eye in the house. But I'm hoping that this can be a positive, and this can be, a reaction to that hatred, and say we will push back.
And this was a musical that was special to Joe Cox.
That's right, yeah, it was her favourite musical, and I did have a conversation with Brendan. He did say we sang this in the car, the kids know all the words, and it's quite a tasty musical for very small children.
Yeah.
But
quite a lot of prostitutes in it. Yeah.
We are doing the schools version, so it's slightly edited, but it will be incredibly powerful, as close to the West End show as we can possibly be.
And many of the cast had actually encountered Joe Cox, including Bilal Khan, who's 13.
I met Joe about 5 times at my school. Joe was a lovely person, and this is such a great inspiration to do in honour of her as well.
It must be quite emotional.
Yeah, it is emotional just to see all the people come together from different backgrounds. So I'm really happy that's happening, and I hope this carries on for many more years to come.
And Bilal might get his wish. Les Mis finishes on Saturday, but plans are being discussed for the company to continue and provide a lasting legacy to a much-loved MP.